we go. It is Mets postgame live. Gary Apple, Jim Duquette back inside our SNY studios, just over at Chavez Ravine out in Los Angeles. And the Mets have now taken the opening two games of this series from the Dodgers. They win by a final of 6-4. The bullpen usage was incredible today. We're going to get into that. Edwin Diaz pitching the eighth inning for the first time since back in 2022. So a lot to get to. Let's go back out there right now, get a look at our notes from this game, how things unfolded at Dodger Stadium. The Mets took the lead in the very first inning. Francisco Lindor had the big home run from the left side last night, delivers again from the left side. Ground rule double, scoring Brandon Nimmo. And the Mets had the lead 1-0 in the first inning. Tied at 1 in the fourth inning. Starling Marte put the Mets back in front. RBI single into center. Wendell scores. Mets back in front 2-1. It was tied again in the sixth inning, 2-2, but not for long. Marte, and that one is not coming back. That is a bomb to center field off Ryan Brazier, 432 feet, and the Mets were up 5-2. 5-4 game, bottom of the sixth inning. Dodgers had the tying run down to third. What a play here by Pete Alonso. Gets up, dives to the bag, and it was still a 5-4 game. Francisco Lindor then adding a bit of insurance in the eighth inning again from the left side into left field. Knocks in Marte. Mets had the lead 6-4. Then bottom of the inning, Dodgers loaded the bases. Edwin Diaz facing Max Muncy with 2 outs, and he gets him swinging to end the inning. The Mets hold on. They get the win. Again, they've taken the opening 2 games of this series from the Dodgers. They wrap up, Jim, their 5th consecutive series victory. Let's begin there with Edwin Diaz in the eighth inning. The manager goes to Diaz against the meat of the lineup there in the eighth inning. How did he work his way through it?
Boy, first off, great job by Carlos Mendoza going to your best pitcher, right? In that situation, those are the best hitters. You know, and I think with Diaz, you're still kind of trying to figure out where's the fastball velocity? Does he have the type of stuff to be like we saw a couple of years ago? And, you know, this is not an easy assignment here, trying to go after Ohtani. He walks Ohtani and Freeman to load the bases. We saw that a lot during the game, but here comes Hefner. Going to talk to him a little bit about Teoscar. There's that explosive fastball that you love to see out of him. Now, he didn't locate it, but it ends up being effective in for the strikeout. And then here's the pitch by pitch here to Muncy. He gets ahead of him early. It's all fastballs early on. Now, Muncy's giving him trouble, right? He's hit 2 home runs off him in his career. So the first 5 pitches, fastball. Then he gets the foul off. He goes, you know what? I think it's time for that little backdoor slider. He nails it. Perfect spot for it, down low where Muncy can't get at it. And I think that was the pitch of the night for Diaz, where he's feeling it's like 5 straight fastballs, and then he surprised him with that slider. That's how he gets out of it. Tremendous job there in that situation.
You and I were trying to figure out what sort of a pitch was he going to throw in that situation. You know, there's been some talk about Diaz. The velocity has been down a little bit. That fastball at about 98 is where it's topping out at the moment. When you see what he's doing with the repertoire and the speed, what's your thought process?
Well, you know, I think it's not surprising right now that the velocity's down just a little bit. I mean, it takes a little while. When he was going well and he was completely efficient with his pitching mechanics, that was the unbelievable season that we saw 2 years ago. When you take a full year off, it's almost like trying to get your swing back as a hitter. It takes a little while, I think, as you get into the season. I think you'll see better out of him as the season goes on. This is one of those moments, I think, for the season for Diaz that he can build on here. I thought the velocity was a little bit better. Maybe overthrown just a hair. You could see a couple balls that were kind of up and away to his arm side. But overall, I thought it was a very effective outing.
And we said at the beginning of this series that this was going to be a litmus test for the Mets going out to LA to take on the Dodgers. And that particular inning, I think, was an early season litmus test for Edwin Diaz right there.
Well, there's no question. I think when you're Diaz and you're sitting down there, and I tell you, Carlos Mendoza got him up early, plenty of time. He's waiting to get in there. He might have thought, Diaz might have thought he's going to get to Betts. He didn't. He waited with a runner on base. And I think the other thing, when you're coming in, Diaz is used to coming in with most of the time with a clean inning. You know, that takes a little bit of time too when you haven't done it for a while. Got a runner on base. Again, those group of guys, Ohtani and Freeman, he has had a lot of success. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts against Ohtani as Diaz in that matchup. So it was a good one. He just lost him there, without the command. But I think that's something that, in time, as you see Diaz get better and more efficient with the delivery, you'll see the better command.
And then one of the unsung stories for this Mets team early in the season is Reed Garrett. Now, Reed Garrett threw 33 pitches in the game last night, and he goes to him there in the ninth inning to try and get his first major league save And Garrett does get his first major league save. He strikes out the side. How did he do that, Jim?
You know, I think that's remarkable when you see where he's been. I mean, this is a guy that really has bounced around a little bit and, you know, is a guy that hasn't been in those type of situations. You mentioned it, the first time he's in a save situation. I think to get that first out was pretty critical, right? You get Outman on that split finger, which is a really, really good pitch that he's added to his repertoire. Then you see the split finger that he gets, Page's looking there, and then, of course, he gets the strikeout to Lux on the split. So, you know, that combination of fastball, slider, and split finger, and I think, you know, around the league, they haven't quite figured out that he's got that split finger yet, and it's effective. I thought it was a tremendous job today, especially coming off of, like you said, he threw 33 pitches there last night. He was the only guy really available, right? Raley was down, Ottavino was down, so for him to go ahead in that situation was really big.
One of the things the Mets did today, they walked 10 Dodgers, and they still found a way to get it done. From an offensive standpoint, Starling Marte, that big home run, that was a bomb to center field, 432 feet. He looks like a very healthy player.
Boy, you kind of forget how much the Mets missed him last year and how good of a player he is, right? Yes. I mean, you look at his ability to not only hit, but hit for power and steal bases. He showed it all today. This shows you that he's certainly healthy, and the strength there. That's an off-speed pitch that not many guys can take to the deepest part of the park there at Dodger Stadium. I mean, that's no doubt. That ball is crushed out there in that particular situation. We saw him earlier with a couple of nice at-bats there where he delivered. What, for me, the sign that he's healthy is he's stealing bases, right? I think he's got 5 total bags on the start of the season, and that's a weapon that the Mets didn't have with him being out, and so now it looks like that speed and power combination is back.
It's a game changer. He looks healthy, and he's producing in a very big way. Knocked in for the Mets 6 runs in this game. Back out Dodger Stadium right now. Here's Steve Gelbs moments ago with Starling Marte.
Starling Marte, 4 RBIs today and another Mets win. From the outside looking in, you look exactly like you did 2 years ago. What does being healthy and feeling like you did allow you to do differently on the field?
Que empujaste 4 carreras hoy y tú te ves como el mismo jugador que te veía en el 2022. ¿Qué siendo saludable te ha ayudado para hacer las cosas que tú quieres en el terreno?
No, es importante cuando un jugador está saludable, ya que puede dar mucho de su talento. Jugar con dolor es algo que uno siempre ha jugado, pero jugar saludable es algo que uno puede hacer mejor. Y hoy fue una victoria más, la cual seguimos batallando cada día, cada turno importante, cada carrera sumamente importante y cada base robada también. Hemos colectado muchas de esas cosas y por eso que hemos seguido avanzando cada día, jugando duro y ganando juegos.
It's important for a player to be able to go out there healthy. It's one thing to go out there and play with some type of pain, but when a player is healthy, they're able to really demonstrate the type of player that they are. In terms of today, it's just another good win for the team. Everyone helping each other out. Everyone just adding on. Every hit is big for the team. Every every stolen base is big for the team. Every run that we score is big for the team. And I think that's what we have to continue to do to be able to have the type of results that we've been having.
So you drove in 4, Francisco Lindor drove in the other 2, and you guys shared a pretty cool moment yesterday after he hit his home run. He talked about how supportive you've been. What does it mean to you personally, to this team, to see him start to turn the corner and do exactly what you knew he could do?
Que tú empujaste 4 carreras hoy, Lindor empujó 2. Él vio el momento que ustedes tuvieron anoche. Qué bien se siente y para que Lindor tenga el éxito que está teniendo ahora mismo.
Bueno, se siente bien, ya que reconozco el tipo de jugador que es, un jugador sumamente con mucho talento, ha tenido una carrera maravillosa. A veces uno tiene que darle ánimo, darle apoyo para poder seguir su trayectoria de la manera que ha llevado. Y claramente nos llevamos sumamente bien, nos ayudamos uno al otro y espero que siga contribuyendo para el equipo, trabajando duro como lo hace y que las cosas sigan saliendo bien.
No, it feels great. When you're able to recognize how great of a player he actually is, to be able to see him have the moments and breakouts that he's been having the last couple of days, it's great to see. We and him have a great relationship, and obviously he's had a marvelous career. And I think for a player like him, just to continue having those type of days, today was a big one.
Starling, appreciate the time. Congrats on the win. You guys keep rolling.
Thank you.
Gary Cohen on the call. The Mets right now, Jim and I were talking about it during the break. They're a very connected team. I think you can see that. Carlos Mendoza did a terrific job with his bullpen once again in today's win. Let's hear from Carlos as we go back out to Dodger Stadium.
Carlos, what does it say about Reed Garrett, especially after his first tough outing of the year, to come back when you guys really needed him today and shut it down like he did?
Yeah, he says a lot. And I thought even yesterday when he got into trouble, he kept making pitches. But for him to go out there today and have that type of outing where he was just aggressive in the zone, and this is something that we've been talking about as a group, you know, that there's going to be times we're going to ask those guys to get outs in the middle of a game with traffic, up 8, down 1, and this situation here in the 9th, up 2, against a pretty good lineup, their job is to get outs, and that's what he did today.
Diaz is one of those rare pitchers where no matter how much trouble he's in, you know that he's a couple strikeouts away. When he does load the bases there, just what is your thought watching him, you know, try and navigate his way out of it?
I still like our chances, you know. It's one of those, not only he's one of the better ones, you know, if not the best, but you always trust him that he's going to get out of trouble. You know, he's going to continue to make pitches, and he did that today. You know, obviously he was careful with the 2 best hitters, and then for him to get back and get Teoscar and Muncy was huge in that situation.
Were you at all considering bringing him back for the 9th, or was it always going to be?
If he was pitch efficient in the 8th, then there was a conversation. But after he went 20 pitches, I wasn't going to push. I was already pushing it. I thought the game was there in the 8th. You know, our best guy against their best hitter, and that's what he got in the game. But after he went 20 pitches, I wasn't going to push it.
What did Marte meant to this lineup?
Huge, you know. We all know that when he's healthy, he's a really good player. He's been doing it for a long time, and here he is, you know, having success, having quality at-bats, and the biggest thing, not only he's healthy, feeling good, but he's having fun.
Did you guys get a final diagnosis on Alvarez?
Yeah, so it's a torn ligament. He will require surgery. So this is something that hopefully we get it done the beginning of next week. We don't know, you know, the timetable for his recovery, but we're pretty confident that we'll get him back this year. So.
Is that the UCL?
Yeah, it's a ligament. Yeah. So.
Anything else?
I just put it the 8th inning because it was the heart of the order.
Yeah, I thought the game was there. You know, for me, you know, with their best hitters coming up. I thought the decision, you know, I wasn't going to wait till the 9th because who knows what was going to happen there. So I went with our best guys, our best guy against their best guys.
What did you think of Budo?
I didn't think he had it. You know, obviously walks, deep counts. He was up to like 60 pitches, you know, in the 2nd inning. But for him to go back out for the 5th, it was huge, especially where we were bullpen-wise today with few guys down. For him to go, you know, and go back out for the 5th was important. And then obviously the guys came in, kept us in the game, make pitches, and but overall Budo battled without his best pitches today.
Just on Alvarez, you said you're hopeful he can play again this year. Is that a hope or is that an expectation?
We're pretty confident that we'll get him back. We just got to wait till he goes through the surgery and see what happens.
What do you think of Alonso's play?
Pretty good play, you know. Pretty special play, you know, especially in that situation there, for him to not only knock it down, but having the awareness of getting up and you know, diving on first base. You know, another, you know, it was a huge win for us, top to bottom. Defensively, pitching, offensively, I thought we did a hell of a job.
Is that just sort of indicative of how you guys are playing right now? It seems like every inning is like the Game 7 of the World Series, no matter what. The guys are sacrificing their bodies and taking good at-bats.
Yeah, they're feeding off each other. You know, this is something that they're playing every pitch, every at-bat. I know it's easy for me to say it, but it's good that we're getting results. That always helps, you know, and, you know, we see it. You know, we see it from our pitching staff. We're seeing offensively, defensively, and then just the energy overall in the dugout. It's something that we're doing a pretty good job of.
When did Nito get here, and were you hesitant at all to make that switch to put him right in?
Yeah, he got here around 1:30. They told me that he was in the clubhouse, and you know, I'm pretty confident. You know, these guys can catch. You know, and that's why, you know, for me, it was one of those that I like that matchup with Taylor. I know I emptied the bench, but I took my chances, and I was pretty comfortable with Nito going in the game in that situation and handling our pitching staff, and he did it.
How did Alvarez take the news?
Hard, you know, disappointed obviously, but this is something that he'll get through it. We will help him, and we're pretty confident that we're gonna get him back. But as you know, as human, you know, he wants to be out there, he wants to contribute, and right now he's not gonna be able to do that.
right. Thank you very much, brother.
So a lot to unpack there from the manager, Carlos Mendoza, calling this a huge win for his team. But the headline coming out of that, without question, Francisco Alvarez, who hurt his thumb in the game last night. He's got a torn ligament in that thumb. He is heading for surgery, and he says confident they're going to get him back sometime this year, but they won't know until he has the surgery. But what's your take on this news, Jim?
I mean, it's a tough loss, right? I mean, there's no way around it. You miss out on an impactful bat, but you also miss out on the development of Alvarez, right? I mean, this is a young kid, young player, one of the top catchers, that I think is on the rise. And when you look at it, the defense has really improved, right? All the pitch framing that we've talked about, the game calling, the leadership, the youthful energy we talked about pregame with him. And he's a 30 home run potential bat. I thought he was going to be 30 home runs for sure this year. So now you got to recalculate the expectations from him, but you want to get him back too, and I think that's the important thing is hopefully Narvaez and Nito can kind of man the catching position until then, and then get him back whenever the thing heals, whenever the surgery heals.
There is some irony, I think, in this. When you think about it, they went out and got Omar Narvaez before last season to be the frontline catcher because you wanted to bring Alvarez along slowly, and then Narvaez gets hurt early in the season. Alvarez jumps on the scene, has a tremendous season, and now Alvarez going to be your guy. He goes down early in the season, and now you're counting on Narvaez to be your everyday catcher. What's your level of confidence that he's up to the task at this point in his career?
I mean, listen, he's an established catcher, right? He's been on the scene for a long time. He's 32 years old. He's been a catcher for for his whole career. It's not that long ago that he was an all-star, right? When he was with the Brewers in 2022, he's a guy that does have some power when he's swinging the bat well. His fastball, the numbers, the slug against the fastball was really dropped off since that all-star year. So for him to kind of get back on track, I think will be important for him offensively. He had a couple of good at-bats. He moved a runner over earlier, and he got a sacrifice bunt down there late that ended up a little bit later on the Marte three-run homer. So even if it's little things like that helping him win, I think it'll be important. I thought overall he did a pretty good job catching. There's a lot of pitches thrown today, a lot of balls that were kind of scattered. He did a pretty good job there calling that.
Starling's healthy. I mean, we all know what he's capable of. We all know that he's just an unbelievable athlete, baseball player overall. Like he's a game changer, right? And so when he's healthy, he's absolutely unbelievable. And it's fun to watch. And I'm just so happy that he's healthy and that they got the core thing figured out, because now we all get to enjoy, watching Starling be Starling.
How tough was it to hear the news about Alvarez?
Yeah, it's tough, and it won't be probably the last hard news that we have. That's unfortunately the case of being in a marathon in a 162-game season. It was also tough news when we lost Senga, and so we were able to overcome that so far, and I'm confident in these guys to be able to overcome this unfortunate news, but it is unfortunate. I love the way he's playing the game. I love the way that he's growing as a player. But these kind of things happen, and just have another obstacle to overcome.
Do you get pitched any different with Marte behind you?
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. I mean, especially now, with him swinging the bat so well and being healthy, the league is recognizing it, and so I will definitely start to get pitched even more different than even in the beginning of the season.
Brandon, wins like this for you guys, what does that do for this team?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, this was really, truly from the top down a team win, and everybody had to be used. I mean, even Nito hopped off a plane, and we had to have him close things out, with catching, and so just an unbelievable job by him to lock it in, and an unbelievable job from top to bottom for everybody to just not give at bats away. Diaz coming in, I mean, obviously facing unbelievable hitters, we all know, and just stepping up to the challenge and being the guy. He's that guy. He's so confident, and he knows how good he is, and those are the moments that can really define a season, and he stepped up and was just unbelievable in it. So I just thought it was an amazing top to bottom win, and just shows what this team's capable of.
Brandon, when you look at winning teams, they have guys emerge that maybe they didn't expect. What has Reed Garrett meant to the start to the season?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. I mean, he's nasty. He's got a few different pitches. I mean, honestly, probably 4 different elite pitches. And for him to be blossoming the way that he is, I think is just unbelievable. Such an amazing teammate, amazing guy. And so I couldn't be happier that what he's doing on the field is backing that up and just making his confidence bloom even more. But just so happy for him that he was able to close that one out and get the first one.
That was pretty cool for Reed Garrett, striking out the side there in the ninth inning for his first major league save. By the way, Brandon Nimmo was on base 4 times in the game, a couple of walks, a couple of hit by pitches. He talked about this being a top-to-bottom complete team win. Francisco Lindor was right in the middle of things. So maybe he unlocked something last night with the home run from the left side, 2 hits, 2 RBIs from the left side in today's game, and both were RBI hits, and looks like a different hitter from the left side.
Well, it is so much different, right, when he is swinging the bat well and when he's hitting the ball the other way. I think, last night in that at-bat, he hit the home run, and he made an adjustment, and it looks like here, these are all 2 strikes hits, by the way. This is a pitch that was down and almost off the plate, and he drove it the other way for a ground rule double. That's a really good sign. And then a little bit later, hitting the ball through the hole, the vacated hole there at shortstop. That's when, Marte scored. Marte had stolen second base. And so, when Lindor is swinging it that way from the left side, that kind of matches what you're seeing out of him from the right side. But a lot of it has to do with him just staying back a little bit, waiting for the pitch and just driving it the other way. When he's doing that, that's when he's on. You saw him earlier in the season kind of out front on a lot of pitches, jumping a little bit on breaking stuff. Now he's staying back much better.
When you see him from the left side now over the course of the last couple of games, does he look like the same hitter that we're seeing from the right side?
He really does. I thought the first 2 or 3 pitches of the home run last night, he was still jumping. He was still out front a little bit. And there was something that he made in that at bat to me that he ends up hitting the home run, and all of a sudden that seemed to unlock some confidence for him. That one at bat that he struck out on the curveball, he was mad at himself because he thought he stayed back, and it was still a little bit slower pitch than what he is accustomed to or what he's used to. But I think you're seeing that he's letting the ball travel a little bit more now, and that is now locked in. And once that's happening, you're seeing him, you're seeing Alonso. I mean, it's a really good offense overall, and that doesn't even have J.D. Martinez yet.
Which is going to be sometime in the not-so-distant future, we believe, we hope. Mets get the win, 6-4 the final. Now consecutive series wins over the Reds and the Braves, the Royals, the Pirates, and the Dodgers, and they go for the series sweep of L.A. tomorrow afternoon in L.A.
Okay, first, just when you think about this homestand and what has kind of happened in regard to the win-loss for this team, what do you see as being the issue?
今回のホームシリーズ振り返ってみて、ちょっとなかなか勝てない状態ですけども、何か原因っていうのは感じ取られてますか？
どうですかね、投打がちょっと噛み合ってないかなっていうのはありますけど、それでもなんていうんですかね、全試合近い点差で粘ってると思いますし、そこはみんな必死になってやってるので、切り替えていくしかないかなと思います。
Yeah, I think the pitching and hitting, we haven't quite been able to, mix and match well. But I think we're, all the games are pretty close, and we're really working hard to make sure that we come out of the top. So I think we just have to keep plugging away and move on.
For you personally, just with runners in scoring position, finding more success as of late, what's been the point of focus for you?
最近個人的なあれですけども、得点圏の時に結構チャンスメイクしっかり打ててると、何か個人的に変えたこととかありますか？
特には変えないようにするのが変えたことかなとは思うので、全打席どんなシチュエーションでもしっかりと自分のバッティングというかそういうのをしっかりどんな状況でも変えずにいければなと思っています。
Nothing specifically. It's just more of regardless of the situation, just sticking to my approach no matter what. That's more of the change that I did, which is no change.
David said that he was going to sort of talk about sort of how aggressive you had been with runners in scoring position. Did he have that conversation? What does your approach change at all when you have runners in scoring position?
監督からそういう得点圏の時のちょっと積極性ということに関して何か話すっていうことをおっしゃっていましたが、監督から何かおっしゃってましたか？
単純にゾーンが多少広がっているっていうところかなとは思うので、そのアグレッシブなのが悪いとかではなくて、そのアグレッシブなゾーンがまず広がっているっていうところで、やっぱりそういうスコアリングポジションじゃない場面っていうのは比較的しっかりとできているので、そこを継続していこうということですかね。
The zone that I'm swinging is a little bit larger with runners in scoring position. So, with nobody on base, I'm pretty good at it. So it's just really just winding down the zone. And yes, we talked about it with Doc.
That's challenging in regard just to the win-loss, especially this home stand. What's just the message to your team as you guys kind of try to find a way to turn things around?
The message is just keep playing. and keep preparing, keep competing, and expect things to turn. You know, today was a little bit of what we've seen in the sense of the pitching. You know, you allow 9 bases, free bases by way of walk or hit batsmen. You know, we did a good job, conversely, of getting guys on base by way of the walk and hit batsmen. We just didn't get the hits we needed to kind of put up some crooked numbers. And I just, you know, and then when we do make a bad pitch, then it seems to go out of the ballpark. And that's just what happens when things aren't going well. So kind of to my point is you just got to keep going. And we're in it. And you just got to keep going, and no one's going to feel sorry for you. And you got to play the game the right way and expect things to turn.
With the series like we've been seeing with this one against the Mets, is it, I guess, maybe more frustrating when you see kind of their team necessarily isn't really playing the cadence of baseball either? It's just maybe they're getting those knocks when they need it?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, but, you know, they get a 3-run homer. They had a homer last night, and it's like, you know, they're getting a big hit, but you don't want to kind of go out there and wait for one big hit. That's not a good strategy, mindset offensively. You just got to kind of take it one pitch at a time and still try to have good at-bats. And some of the guys in our lineup, you know, today, Freddie was really good today, and we just got to kind of piece it together collectively to then break out. But, yeah, it was kind of, you know, no team really showed that they wanted the game, and they gave us opportunities, and we just couldn't capitalize.
It has been processed normally.